Egyptians mark the one-year anniversary of the January 25th revolution with the same message that brought down Mubarak last year, the popular demand for the removal of the regime. In Tahrir, thousands began to pack the square in the early morning. Before any of the dozens of marches descended on the square, it was already packed with people, flags, and stages. But here, opinions in the current state of affairs in Egypt varied.
It is also very difficult to agree on a certain group of people in this country right now. So I'm not sure that this is actually the right thing is to call for the army to go right away.
In Mohandesin, nearly 15 miles away from Tahrir, hundreds gathered during the afternoon prayer in preparation to march. Here, many wear black and mask their faces with the smiles of the revolution's many martyrs, including Mustafa Samir Ahmed. Sitting quietly in the middle of the rally is Faiza Abdulhamid, Mustafa's mother. She holds on to the photograph of her son that has made his face a symbol of national resistance.
عشان حق الشهداء يجي لكن هو ده مش احتفال عشان بس حقهم يجي نعمل احتفال يوم ما ناخد حقنا.
Then, with a loud roar, the march begins. Hundreds quickly turn into thousands. The march stretches around the street corners with no end in sight.
Expressing their outrage towards the military regime and calling for their immediate removal, citing fascist tactics of brutality against demonstrators and activists since the revolution last year.
Alaa Abdel Fattah, a renowned Egyptian blogger, knows firsthand. He was arrested and thrown in jail for nearly 2 months for supposedly inciting violence against the military during the October 9th Mesburo demonstrations.
We're hoping the fact that there is an elected authority would actually limit curb violence a little bit. So the revolution would continue this year, but without, as much bloodshed. But that's just hope. At the end of the day, what we are confronting is a network of interests that's so powerful and that's so entrenched within the state, and part of it is even international interests. So the price cannot be low.
January 25th served as a reunification for many Egyptians. This march transcended class divides and ideological differences. The poor marched alongside the rich, while the secularists, the Christians, and the conservative Muslims chanted side by side. In attempts to thwart revolts similar to last year, the military council announced it would release 2,000 of the 12,000 political prisoners arrested and on military trials following the revolution.
The revolution will always be a day of unity between the people and their armed forces, who sided with the people, safeguarding the revolution and supporting the revolting youth.
Field Marshal Mohammed Tantawi told the country the police and the army would not be present at the demonstrations, and declared the dismissal of the hated emergency law, with the exception of, quote, thuggery.
And today, after the people have had their voices heard, electing their representatives in the parliament, I have taken a decision to end the state of emergency across the country, with the exception of acts of thuggery.
You convince fascists and you convince sadistic army generals to leave by staying on the street, because the only achievements of the revolution have come after pressure from the streets. Even though they've been killing people, even though they've been shooting people's eyes out, even though they've been breaking our bones, even though they've been sexually violating us, we continue to come out on the street and say we are not scared. And that is how we get the military to leave. Tantawi said no emergency law except for thuggery, and then a few days ago they released Michael Nabil. Every day it's a different thing, which says to me they're desperate, they're confused, and they don't know what to do. And that is because of this street pressure right here.
However, the concessions did little to quell the public outcry seen throughout the day. 22 of the 28 governments across Egypt, including the Suez, Alexandria, and Mansoura, held massive demonstrations calling for the immediate removal of the military junta. As the marches coming from the different districts converged with the Muhandisin March, the main bridge leading into Tahrir Square was temporarily halted by the sheer magnitude of people.
All of the marches that started throughout the day have now flooded into the downtown area. January 25th and Tahrir Square will go down in infamy as one of the most important days, one of the most important locations in modern Egyptian history. The question for many people now is the direction of the revolution. Whether those who risk their lives and continue to fight against the government can take on their goal of removing the military council, or whether the military council will usher in a democratic system that many call facades. And Hafez Real News in Cairo, Egypt.